Hello again, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Inside the UBA. Today we look at some of the stars of the UBA. Alongside Victor Howell, I'm Paul Crane. And Victor, one thing we've seen in the early going of the UBA, the level of talent keeps getting better and better.
We were excited to see season one and the talent that debuted in the UBA. We knew there would be more to come in season two as the league continues to grow, and we certainly saw that. A new champion crowned in terms of a team, outstanding standout players, a huge influx of new players. What were the new players like? When you looked at the team, at the players that were voted to the first team, all UBA team, 4 of the 5 players were newcomers, Paul. First time in the UBA in season 2. They were outstanding, but there were certainly some carryover athletes that certainly showed they belonged there as well.
Certainly reflective of the new talent into the league, but the one player who made first team all UBA that was a holdover from season 1 is one of the most dynamic players in the entire league. It's Agu, the guard for the Chennai Slam.
He led the Slam to the championship there in the first season. In season 2, he tried to do it again. One of the most dynamic, natural athletes in all of the UBA. He can shoot from the outside, he can blow past you with his speed, and he uses that speed on the defensive end very well. Oh, he'll challenge you from the perimeter, but just when you think you have an easy shot going to the basket, you better look behind you because it might be Agu. He showed he can do it on both ends of the floor. He is a dynamic player to watch in the UBA.
And to your point, Agu has proven he can do it all.
Agu's game, people. We told you about it. Those shots are going to keep coming from number 1.
Until Agu takes it away. Agu around Joginder, scores the basket, and here's that quickness. Wow! Chennai now trailing by 9, but Agu, if he can heat up, that can disappear in a hurry. It's a second three-pointer. He now has 8.
I know I expect a lot of defense, so I try to do something that is, something that people don't know. So I try to improvise every minute to be better, and I practice very hard.
And Victor Agu, to your point, he does more than just score. He is trouble at the defensive end as well.
You saw his scoring went up from the regular season into the postseason, but he can turn defense into offense because of his speed. His footwork is so quick, he causes so many problems for players on the other team because they think they have the advantage, and Agu can cut you off. He has quick hands, quick feet. That's what makes him so dangerous on defense, and then if he gets a loose ball, you can't keep up with him because he is the fastest player in the UBA.
No question about that, and he's used that speed to his advantage in so many different ways. But as we continue to look at some of the stars of the UBA, 2 other players became teammates on the Pune Peshwas. They put together perhaps the most dynamic backcourt in the entire league, and we're talking about Narendra Grewal and Siddhant Shinde of Pune.
We saw Pune grow from season 1 to season 2. They were very consistent in season 1. Same thing in season 2, but because of the new players, it was a new dynamic to this Pune Peshwa team. We saw some outstanding scoring, and then when one of those players, which congratulations to him, he wound up having to leave the league for a while because he got married, and it's a great, for Narendra, it was a great personal accomplishment. But you know what that meant for the team, Paul? That meant somebody else had to step up for his scoring. And they did, and it wound up being a backcourt mate, and wound up making one of the most dangerous backcourts in the entire league.
And that was Shinde who stepped up as Pune won both games that they played without Narendra, who left to get married. Narendra was the league's leading scorer in season 2, averaging 23.0 points per game. Shinde right behind at 22.6. But the 2 of them put together 2 of the most memorable nights of season 2. Narendra had a 39-point game, and Shinde one night set a UBA single game record, hitting 9 3-pointers.
Narendra into his one-handed shooter, his second three-pointer of the night. He's got 27.
Shinde hits the 3.
Make it work, getting the ball down on the inside. Put on the show now.
Narendra with 29.
How about Shinde? He's got a 5th three-pointer.
A white shirt to get open instead of Jinky finds who else? Narendra by himself. He's got 31.
Shinde at 6. Sets a record, 7 3-pointers on the night.
Cutting Narendra. Hello. He's got 37.
Will be his season high.
Shinde again, rewriting the record books in the UBA.
Shinde. Narendra! And he's got 40s. Oh, goodness. Limited playing time, but why not? 20 seconds. Are you kidding me? 9 in the game.
So this is kind of a learning experience for me because when we play for the nationals and all, our team doesn't have that kind of tall players and stuff like that, and everything is so equally divided here in UBA that even I think the coaches cannot predict that who is going to win the championship. A lot of things I'm learning from this, that how to be patient, how to grind through the game, what I'm doing in defense. The video filming helps us a lot, and we've been watching like games of at around 12 in the midnight and seeing that what mistakes we are making, which helps us a lot in a game.
ये एक तो मैं पहली बार यूबीए खेल रहा हूँ तो मेरे लिए बहुत ही अच्छा है ये सीज़न क्योंकि क्या रहता है कि बास्केट
I asked Narendra, well, he's had a fabulous season. In one of the games against Hyderabad, he had 39 points. So how's the season been like for him? And he said, it's the first time I'm playing in UBA, and it's been a great season for me. And more than anything, to play professional basketball is in itself an experience. I've been playing for the Indian team for the past 6 years. But this level of sport is something that he's experienced for the first time, so he's very grateful for that.
And our thanks to Ridhima Pathak for the nice translation, and Narendra, his last three-pointer in that big night was originally a 3. It was later changed to a 2, so he ends up with 39. But great night from Narendra and Shinde, 2 stars of the UBA. But we are just getting started. When we come back, the most valuable player from Season 2 is just one of those that make up the stars of the UBA. We'll meet them when this edition of Inside the UBA continues.
Vinay, what does it mean to you to be the MVP of the UBA?
It's amazing, like it's a dream come true here in UBA, and like it was a very tough competition to reach here in the finals. Like it's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome back, and Victor Howell, Vinay Kaushik certainly proved himself to not just be the most valuable player on the team that won the championship, but the most valuable player in the league.
And he certainly looked comfortable on that bike, winning it and earning it. And he did that. Look, in the beginning of the program, we talked about the top 2 scorers in the UBA in Season 2. They were both on the Pune Peshwas. It wasn't him. He was one of the top scorers, sure. Was he the best defensive player? Maybe not number 1, but you know what he was? Consistent from start to finish. And at the end, when the plays needed to be made most, the biggest plays of the season, he was there to make them. And that's why he was sitting there talking to you with the hardware in his hand.
The 5th leading scorer in the league at 18.7, and Vinay very happy with his first season in the league.
Vinay looking to get on track. Oh, that might get him started.
There is good teams here, and they are competing really well, and the competition level is so much, and you can't say that who will win, who will lose. It's up to the day and how you play.
Here come the Capitals. Smith with a nice pass to Vinay for the finish.
Here I'm having good point guard, good forwards, good pivots, and good changes also in our team. So it's good here to, like, we can give our 100% here.
And he certainly did from the outside. You see the shooting from behind the three-point line, but he had that burst of speed and aggressive nature to get to the rim as well and had the defense backing up. But again, Paul, when the plays needed to be made most at the best times, Vinay was there to do it.
Game 3 of the North Series was one of those. Look at that block shot in Game 3. It changed momentum as Vinay did it when it mattered most. Oh, and in the regular season, with time running out, tied against Haryana, Vinay beat the buzzer and beat the gold. Vinay Kaushik the most valuable player and certainly one of the stars of the UBA. Another newcomer to the league and another star, Mahesh Padmanabhan, the Indian from down under with the Hyderabad Sky.
Really enjoyed watching his game develop, and not just because I love his accent. Great talking to him, but he's got a great knowledge of the game as well. He brought that international experience to a team that struggled overall to start the season, but you saw his game come around, and you know what Mahesh was for Hyderabad? He was a second coach on the floor. When things were struggling, he had that ability to bring guys together, even though it was his first season in the UBA. It showed great leadership on the floor, and of course, his play backed it up as well.
Oh, he played in Sydney, Australia, where he grew up, and his first season in the UBA, he had one of the most dramatic nights as Hyderabad put together a 3-game winning streak. The third game of that, a double overtime win against Pune, in which Mahesh had 15 points after regulation, 5 in the overtime, and 10 in the double overtime.
Tries to set the screen. Mahesh from the corner buries the 3.
It's a funny sport, I think, basketball. I think all it takes is one little thing to click, and then you realize it doesn't take much to turn losses into wins.
Nice little baseline shot by Mahesh.
And then once you start getting 1 win, 2 wins, just kind of carries on, and then everyone falls in love with that feeling of winning.
Mahesh hits the 3. Here's left open.
With regards to my role, I mean, I'm happy to do anything that it takes to make this sport grow.
Mahesh for 3.
And we've got a good platform now, so I'm happy to do whatever it takes to make this into a full-time job for all of these talented players out here.
Mahesh guarded by Masu. Edwin trying to set the screen. Mahesh with a little flavor.
Probably can't go past the second overtime against Pune.
Mahesh hits the 3.
It looks good when it falls.
Okay.
I was firing a little bit. I felt good.
Feeling it now. Another 3-pointer.
And he shows the crowd. So, you know, that's probably a highlight for me.
6 on the shot clock. Mahesh to the basket. Gets the roll. Mahesh Padmanabhan has 10 points in the double overtime alone.
Wow, a memorable night indeed.
Absolutely.
You talk about Mahesh being a great leader on the floor, one of our other stars of the UBA. He showed great leadership night in and night out. That's Jagdeep Bains of the Mumbai Challengers.
And he's got great size and ability on the floor for a team that completely turned it around from season 1 to season 2. And Jagdeep was one of those that you saw his game develop. And as he developed, so did the team. They were one of the surprise, if not the surprise, to start season 2 of the UBA. Jagdeep was a big reason why, to see what he was doing on the floor.
And he certainly has had a storied career in Indian basketball before coming to the UBA, but now a star in the UBA. And he spoke with Ridhima Pathak.
Jagdeep. Oh, nice move by the big fella.
And if I talk about myself, well, I am a senior player and I've played plenty of games before.
Ramesh and Jagdeep would have none of that. He had all ball.
But for the younger generation, I think it's a fabulous platform to showcase their talent, and I'm really thankful to UBA to be present in our country.
Jagdeep backing down, just around, 10 on the shot clock. Jagdeep once again, that body control scoop under the basket. Wow, what an impressive score.
Jagdeep was one of those players, Paul, of the overall theme we saw in season 2 of the UBA. The size of the players, yet they still had the shot and the finesse, and you saw it in some of those highlights right there. He's one of those that had a great combination of both.
Great body control, more than just a big guy. Speaking of a guy that had some size and tried to play down, Gary of the Punjab Steelers. He's one of those who came to the first UBA pro training camp in Phoenix, Arizona. And Gary's not the biggest guy, but he can play big.
No, he's got a game this way. He's not as thick as some of the players that were there in the UBA, but he definitely has the size and the height. There may have been too many expectations put on him early to see his development because the potential is there, and I think he may have felt some of that to start season 2. But boy, when he settled into his game, you could see it take off another level. It was going as high as his frame is out on the floor because he's got the total package.
He showed more than just flashes of that despite the slow start, which he explained to Ridhima Pathak.
Gary Looking at Nikhil, going around, Gagandeep waiting.
There it is.
Crashes into Gagandeep. He thought about it. This is Gary, an aggressive drive to the basket. Gary's first of the game.
I asked Gary about his performance in the season, which initially was a little slow and then he picked up, so what did he change? But he said initially he was taking time to gel along with the team, and once he had that comfort level, he took on.
This is Gary, an aggressive drive to the basket. Gary's first of the game.
I asked Gary about his experience at the UBA, and he said the experience was absolutely splendid. And since each player used to play for the state before, and because of UBA, they came together and played like a team. They got to know the players better. And this will also have an improvement in our national team of basketball, as now the players are better prepared to play basketball.
Gary answering at the other end, doing the favor in return. Bishop takes it again. Oh, an exclamation point.
Big time play.
And he has the ability to make those big-time plays, but those were a lot of offensive highlights. What you didn't see a lot of, and you're going to see it now, is what he did on the defense. We saw him a lot of times have his head hanging, Paul, coming down the floor because he was frustrated on the offensive end, but he never brought it past midcourt. When they needed him on defense, he brought that game to protect the rim. He's got the size to do it. Punjab Steelers needed it, and he delivered on the defensive side.
A sign of a true professional, and Gary, one of the stars of the UBA. More stars still ahead, including a look at some of the big men who made such a difference down low in the process, provided several exclamation points for the UBA. Welcome back. As we continue our look at some of the stars of the UBA, we'll look at some of the big men who made their mark down low, including Gagandeep of the Mumbai Challengers.
What the team needs. Gagandeep showing rebounding skills there.
Again, he didn't even play in the first quarter last time out. Still had 25 points. Gagandeep starts the scoring.
I think it's a really good platform for all the players. And first time it is shown on such a large scale. So it's very nice. Players are getting much more exposure. It's really good.
He was not named the MVP, but trust me when I tell you, it was not a long conversation before you got to his name. His presence for the Mumbai Challengers was a big reason why the team had such a turnaround that it did in Season 2. A great, big presence underneath that could power opponents. One thing Gagandeep had to work on and focus on, Paul, was sometimes got a little tired, a little lazy, and his game would drift a little bit. With that body and that frame, he could dominate in the paint. For the most part, that's what he did for the Mumbai Challengers.
He did that, and so did Gopal of the Chennai Slam. Really picked up his game in the postseason in particular. He was a dominant force down low.
And when we were in Pune for the first part of Season 2, I remember during the broadcast saying how much I loved his game. Why? Because he knows his role. He knows right where he's supposed to be. He's there right at the inner circle with the block shot on defense. For a rebounding position, look where he is on the far side of the basket. He knows his zone. It's within about 4 to 5, maybe 6 feet from the basket. That size, that shot, that touch can help dominate, and that's why he has such a big presence in Season 2. It was great to watch him work on the inside.
It was such a big, big reason why the Chennai Slam made it all the way to the championship finals. Another newcomer and a star in the UBA was on the Hyderabad Sky. Athletic, played professionally in Thailand. It's Edwin.
Dish to Edwin with the cut. Our first start to the season.
We are a great team. We are great players. You know, we have good players in every position.
Attacking anybody. Nash the little floater. Edwin the rebound. The turnaround. He knocks it down. Edwin well rested.
Showed everyone that, yeah, we're really a good team and we can pull up surprises.
Dishing for Edwin. That's well done.
Many people like try to serve, but I will tell them that it's a mistake because we're quite a better team.
You can see it. I don't have to tell you. Look at his physical frame. One of the most physically gifted athletes in all of the UBA. We really saw his game develop when it transitioned from the end of the Pune segment towards Hyderabad because he's such a big physical presence. His game can only go up for what he can do for the Hyderabad Sky with that frame and being able to dominate on the inside.
Very true. Another game we saw go up was a returning player from Season 1. It's Karan, who happened to be the leading scorer in the league in Season 1, but as he told Ridhima Pathak, and we saw, his game was able to develop in Season 2.
Karan left alone. Well, he buries the three. That's what he does. Here come the challengers again. Kanan. Nobody on him. There's another one.
You better pay attention to him.
Kanan sizes up to 3, rounds it home, and is fouled.
It's a fantastic platform. Well, people did know me before, but now they recognize me. So it is a fantastic platform for me as well as the youngsters.
Loses the handle.
Well, a lot of people knew him from season 1 because he was such a scorer. He had to because his team struggled so much. He didn't have that support. In season 2, he had a lot more support. His scoring went down, but his game, Paul, got better. It was more well-rounded. He was distributing the ball. He had a great support staff. Oh, we know Kanan can fill it up. We saw it. He didn't have to in season 2, and his game went from good to really good because it was much more well-rounded.
And we saw why he remains a star in the UBA. And we're not done yet. We've got several young players who have made their way to the UBA, and their future is bright as well when we come back. Welcome back as we continue to look at stars in the UBA. One who really elevated his game in the Season 2 playoffs, Cami Carmel, averaged just over 8 points per game in the regular season, over 16 in the playoffs.
Chennai will hold for the last shot, up by 6. 2 seconds left. Cami hits the basket.
Yeah, it changed my life, even like not the real life, so that I could make my decisions in reality is like simple for me when I play in this league.
When you're scoring 8 in the regular season and you more than double that in the postseason, that is the perfect example of elevating your game. He was there in year 1. We saw his game develop even more, Paul, in year 2. One of those quiet leaders on a Chennai team that had all sorts of talent, but he's the reason why they went oh so close to walking away with the hardware again.
That's Cami Carmel, one of the newcomers to the UBA that made his way to the second team All-UBA, averaging 17 points a game, is Ragaram of the Bengaluru Beast.
Ragaram, the drive on the baseline, off the glass. Ragaram will come back.
Very easy to show a skill and everything, and comparing to before my coming to UBA, I really played a very good game like here. And individually, I have been grown up like how to play like in this season. Particularly, all Indian players are playing here. We're enjoying to play here.
Early in this game, Ragaram to the basket, off the glass. Ragaram, hook 3. Ragaram from the left side, using the right hand, scooping around. Ragaram come back in a big way.
Ragaram had missed one regular season game due to personal reasons, but one of his teammates we know very well, certainly a star in the UBA, and that is Kef Zia.
Kef gets the jam! Kef with a dunk!
I think everyone's gelling up very well in our team.
He steals everything he can get his hands on. Kef off the glass!
They respect each other, and I think it's a great team with great players.
Kef and a foul.
And our players who are there in our team are like better performance, and they have good motivation towards the game.
It's Kef with a steal. Kef dunks it home!
Kef was one of the handful of players that came over to the United States from year 1 to year 2, and we saw his game elevate. And I think what you've seen with all the players we focused on here, Paul, is the potential of the game to go even higher in Season 3. There's so much talent there in the UBA, and so many young players who went from good to really good, and some who are really good who just flat-out stars that we focused on here today.
And there are only a few of the stars we got to focus on in this show. There's so many more. Now, for all of us at Inside the UBA, I'm Paul Crane. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.